Hi, good day everyone. This is AJ, and in this video presentation, I am going to share to you my report which is entitled Typology of Bilingual Education Programs. Okay, so for the objectives, at the end of this discussion, we will be able to describe the various bilingual education program models, including their features, components, and goals. So, in this discussion, I am going to briefly introduce bilingual education and the varying purposes behind using certain languages as the medium of instruction in schools. So, weak or strong forms of bilingual education are distinguished in terms of bilingual outcomes among students. So, but first, let's have first the definition. First is typology, meaning it is a classification according to general type. The second one is bilingual education. So, bilingual education, in simplest or its basic definition, it is the teaching of academic content in two languages, one native and one second language. So it's very basic. This is the very basic definition of bilingual education. So we also have here another definition about bilingual education. So it involves teaching academic content in two languages, in a native and secondary language, with varying amounts of each language used in accordance with the program model. So we have here the chart which is adapted by Baker. So this is the types of bilingual education in chart. The first one, here this is the weak form of bilingual education. And this one here, this is the second form, which is called strong forms of bilingual education. So as can be seen in the extreme right down here, extreme right column above, weak and strong forms are defined by the typical language outcomes among students. While here in the second column, from the side, from the right, kani siya, it is the various educational or societal aims of bilingual education. As we can see, makita raman no, mabasa raman nato. So, ang kaning middle, kining languages and in the classroom, mo ni siya nga column kay demonstrate sa possible language use patterns in school classes, particularly the medium of instruction. So, the 10 types of bilingual education are thus defined by the language background of the students, the languages actually used in the classroom, the aims of the decision-making authorities, and the active linguistic repertoire upon leaving the school. So, makita ra na to siya tanan diri sa chart. Okay, Baker 2006 provides summary of the broad types of language programs for bilinguals. The typology of bilingual education programs has 10 types and are classified into 3. So, 10 siya ka-types nga bilingual education pero gi-classified siya into 3, which is ang first nga classification, monolingual forms of education for bilinguals. The second is weak forms of bilingual education, and the last classification is strong forms of bilingual education. So here are the types of bilingual education programs. So first is ang segregationist, then part ni siya sa monolingual forms of education for bilinguals. So segregationist, minority language children are denied access to programs or schools attended by the majority language children. So meaning, kining segregationist, ang minority groups are isolated from the mainstream society. So, i-isolate sila no kato mga minority. The situation is that the dominant social groups excludes the minority group from the option of learning in languages of wider communication. It's like, kato mga majority groups, they keep the minority groups down monopolizing limited resources and economic opportunities for social advancement. So, luoy kay itong mga minority groups kay nagigi-segregate sila, gimonopolize sila, gi-isolate sila. The second is submersion or structured immersion. So, in this program, minority children are grouped in one class. The minority first language is not developed, but it is replaced by the majority language. This deprives the language minority children with the opportunity to interact with their native-speaking peers. It is also more challenging to the language minority children to understand what their teacher is saying because the language of instruction is the majority language. So, kini siya nga type nga bilingual education is luoy kaayo tong mga minority kay dili sila ka-relate. Kay ilahang mga native language kay dili man ginagamit sa school. Their native language is not seen or fit to use, and the medium of instruction is foreign sa ilaha is because ang ginagamit sa medium of instruction kay ang majority language man. So, di sila ka-relate, dili sila ka istorya, di sila kapagawa sa unsa ilahang mga gusto istorya. It's because wala ginagamit sa ilahang school. So, it's either the children will sink or swim from the word sa title na submersion. So, it's either nila kung di nila makaya, malumos sila, o kaya nila, di. Langoy sila, padayon. Gets ra? So, the third one is also bilang Japanese sa monolingual forms of education for bilinguals, which is submersion with withdrawal classes / sheltered English. So, one example of this program is when language minority children are pulled out from their mainstream classes and are required to receive specialized instruction. Instruction like taking English as second language or ESL classes. So this program poses problems because pulled out students fall behind the other students on curriculum content. So, sabotable ra kaya no from the word nga ma-fall behind sila. So kani nga type nga submersion kay gina-pull out ang language minority students out of their classes to study the majority language or ang medium of instruction itself. So, ang aim aning second type nga submersion kay to soften the shock of changing the language. Kay syempre, di ba, ma-shock jud sila kay warag makuyawan jud ang mga bata kay tungod foreign sa ilahang language nga ginatudlo sa ilahang school. So, manang gina-pull out sila aron mas di kayo sila ma-shock na sila knowledge before sila mo tapak sa ilahang school. Pero as I've mentioned, nga katong ma-fall behind ang mga bata, it's because na dyan siya drawbacks, diba? Kay gina-pull out man sila. So, ang downside ani kay ang students, kay ma-miss nila ilang regular class, diba? So, ma-left behind ang katong mga students nga gina-pull out. Mapod to ang iyahang drawbacks kani nga a type of bilingual education. So, we are done with the second classification, which is weak forms of bilingual education for bilinguals. So, number 4 na ta. Number 4 is transitional. This program provides initial instruction in the student's first language and instruction in the first language is phased out over time. It is highly criticized because it is remedial, compensatory, and segregated, where language minority children are separated from the mainstream. It perpetuates the divide between the higher class and the lower class, the language minority children in this case. So, transitional is an approach to bilingual education in which students first acquire fluency in their native language before acquiring fluency in the second language. So, nag-start with considerable native language instruction, but it is gradually phased out. So, moto, okay unta ni siya, pero kay ginauna nila ang ilahang native language, pero karon kay na phase out naman siya, so wala na yapan siya nagagamit. So the fifth one is separatist. So separatist is the language minority deliberately separates themselves from the language majority, where monolingualism in the minority language is fostered, which results in limited bilingualism among language minority. So separatist, pareha same ra siya sa segregationist kay they tend to isolate minority groups from the mainstream society and use their native language in school. So, like sa katong segregationist, kay gina-isolate nila ang minority groups from the mainstream society. So, ang key difference lang jud nila kay while ang segregationist, ang dominant group ang naga-exclude sa minority groups, on the other hand, kining separatist, ang separatist na mismo ang kanang mupalayo sila sila na mo distance from its members from the strong influence from the mainstream society. So nagpalayo na sila in order to protect their native language, religion, and culture. So mo tay lahang kalahian. Ang segregationist gina-exclude sila sa majority groups, walang kining separatist, sila na mismo ang mo distance from the mainstream society. That's 6 is mainstream foreign language teaching. Majority language children are taught in their home majority language with additional foreign language lessons. The problem with this setup is that relatively few students are competent in the second language. So, mainstream with language teaching. So, this is also a weak type of bilingual education, no? Where they use a usual pattern where they only study a foreign language sa ilang balay, several hours a week lang. So, weak dun siya nga kuan type of education, and it does not provide enough exposure and interaction of L2. Kay urog di sila competitive kay tungod nara sila sa ilang balay dayon pila lang sila ka hours naga-study. So, gyapon, there is no, dili enough ang ilang interaction sa second language. So, we are down to the last classification, which is the strong forms of bilingual education. So, seventh is immersion program. In immersion bilingual education, the regular curriculum is taught to some extent in the target language, which can also be called content-based foreign language teaching. But if the target language is used less than half the time over the school year, it is not considered immersion, strictly speaking, but rather enrichment. So, part na niya siya sa strong forms. So, turning to strong forms, a very successful made for majority student language is ang immersion. So, ang difference sa immersion and submersion for minority student is, first of all, it is a matter of choice. Like dive into the deep end of a pool versus being pushed into it. So, 8 is ang maintenance heritage language. This serves the purpose of preserving the ethnic identity, culture, and language of minority group members. Immigrant communities in particular have a need to maintain communication channels with first-generation immigrants and people in their country of origin. Through bilingual education, their children can cope with the majority society without losing their roots. So, maintenance heritage language, this program serves the purpose of preserving the ethnic identity, culture, and language of minority group members. So, through this type of bilingual education program, students can cope with the majority society without losing their roots. So, strong forms dun siya sa bilingual education. So, 9, two-way or dual language bilingual education is similar to immersion. But schools try to gather about the same number of minority and majority language students in each class in the program. And usually, teams teach about half of the curriculum in the native language of the minority and half in the native language of the majority language students. This shows that both languages are equally valued and students can learn from each other. So, number 9, no? So, still, same lang yapon siya sa immersion. Where ang school, they try to gather about same number of minority and majority language students in each class in the program. So, this shows that both languages are equally valued ug ang mga estudyante sab kay mag-learn food sila from each other. So, for the last strong form among the 10 types is ang mainstream bilingual. So, mainstream bilingual, it serves children like majority students or temporary residents whose native language is an international language such as English. Thus, Baker's most recent edition also calls it bilingual education in majority languages. Such schools are in societies where much of the population is already bilingual or multilingual, or where there are significant numbers of natives or expatriates wanting to become bilingual. Bilingual education in majority languages means that some curriculum content is learned through a student's second language. In Europe, this is often called content and language integrated learning, or CLIL. So, kini nga type, which is a mainstream bilingual, it includes international schools and European schools movement, where such schools are, or in societies where much of the population is already bilingual and multilingual. So, dili na sila maglisod kay they are already native naman sa language. So, that would be all for the 10 types or the typology of the basic education program. So, here are some of the reasons for bilingual education. So, acquiring language of wider or official communication. In the 21st century, proficiency in one language is not enough for economic, social, and educational success. Global interdependence often requires the ability to function in more than one language. So, for the goals of bilingual education program, the main purpose of the program is to teach English as soon as possible and integrate the children into the mainstream of education. Second is to maintain the native language and culture while children learn English. Neither of them should be the central theme of the culture. So, for the benefits of bilingual education, it preserves children's sense of pride in the language, allowing them to move freely in an English language dominant society while retaining an important link to their cultural and linguistic heritage. There are also economic advantages in bilingual fluency and literacy. Many jobs pay higher salaries to their bilingual employees. So that would be all for my reports entitled Typology of Bilingual Educations and Programs. Thank you and God bless.